Hello, and welcome to Live at the Waterhole. Again with me, Amy, and we will be here the whole day. Well, for the next few hours for the whole show. And I am looking forward to see what we find today, everyone. A very warm welcome to you all. And remember that this show is live and interactive. So please do say hello. Let me know who you are, where you're watching from, maybe what you're looking forward to seeing today, or some of the things you've enjoyed so far. And as we go along, I always love to hear if you have any questions about what we're looking at or anything at all. You can join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth, or you can send through your comments and your questions on the WildEarth website or on the app. Now we are starting off the show today here at Africam in Kimberley, which is in the northern Cape province of South Africa. And we are looking at some flamingos as well as some red-knobbed coots. There's actually a South African shellduck there in between now, the lighter colored one that's feeding. I love when a duck swims and dips underneath. Look at that. It's amazing that they can turn back right ways up. Tao, hello. You say hello, Amy. Nice to hear you. Yeah, it is nice to have you with us. I'm so glad that you're back again today. I hope that you enjoy the show and maybe see some new things or learn some new things over the next few hours. Now, thanks to Africam, we have a lot more locations available to us, which has been rather exciting for me coming back since the change happened. And it has been a wonderful week, seeing new places, seeing some different animals and behaviors, and just being able to experience some new views and waterholes across Africa. It has been wonderful. Well, it is looking like a beautiful day here at Africam, but let's have a look at what the weather is doing across our locations. And once again, rather warm for the most part. Especially inland in South Africa, the temperatures are quite high today. Where I am in the low veld, it's still warm, but overcast, and we are very grateful for that. I think today and tomorrow we will be experiencing mid-high 20s rather than mid to high 50s. And hello to you. You say happy Thursday, WildEarth and Amy. Well, a very happy Thursday to you as well, Joanne. It was fascinating to watch flamingos and how they feed. I wish we had actually an underwater camera so you were able to see exactly how they sort of tip their heads completely upside down so that they can filter through using their beaks.
This is On Safari. Now remember, this is live and interactive, so we'd love to hear from you.
To be having these incredible experiences in this wild underwater forest.
It was just one of those things which I don't think I'll ever see again in my life.
Thanks for joining us on our Sunrise Safari.
I have been chuckling to myself about this shelter here, everyone. Look how funny it looks on it. I'm basically doing a handstand. Headstand, should I say, that would be more appropriate. Mina, you say an underwater cam would be fun. It would, wouldn't it? We'll just have to make sure we get some very clear water. Unfortunately, with many of these water holes, they're just too murky to have an underwater camera. But if it could be clear, it could be quite. Imagine seeing an elephant's trunk as it's drinking, but from underneath. Alright, well, a lovely start with some flamingos and shellbacks, but let's head over and see what's happening at Jamala. Oh, I do apologize for that, everyone. We've just had an audio issue there at Jamala. We are going to try and work on it and get back to those Ellies as soon as we can. But for now, we're going to spend some more time with these flamingos, and you can just see most of them have actually decided to have a bit of a rest. They look quite elegant, don't they, with their heads sort of tucked away into their wing. And standing on one leg. Now, the standing on one leg is something that we've often referred to with flamingos, but it's something that throughout the Waterhole show we've seen demonstrated by not only flamingos, excuse me, but a few other of the different bird species, and not even just water birds, but even eagles and things like that as well. And you say a fine flock of flamingos. Well, that is a great use of alliteration there. Mina, yes, so many of them are taking a nap. Taking a nap or cleaning their bills, cleaning their feathers, doing some preening. And that's perfectly normal. It's what we expect from birds. They sort of have a cycle of doing some feeding, doing some napping, doing some cleaning. But I must say it is very useful for a flamingo to have such a long neck, especially when it comes to cleaning their bodies. Just have a look at that one rubbing its head around its tail feathers. It means that they can pretty much reach everywhere that they need to.
Out in the wild, life moves fast. To capture the action, you've got to be in the right spot at the wrong time. Now, incredible animal behavior, selected from amazing amateur and professional footage, to reveal the secret lives of animals in motion. This is raw nature, caught in the act.
Mina, you wonder why they sleep standing on one leg. Is it to rest one leg at a time? So, partly because of that, Mina, but for the most part, it's actually to do with conserving energy and trying to keep the most parts of their body warm. So, their legs are very long, very skinny, and sometimes they can get quite cold. And it takes quite a lot of their energy to actually keep the circulation up. So if they can put that leg up against their warm sort of main part of their body in their feathers, then that means that it's less energy that's needed to heat that blood in that leg. And then after a little while, they'll actually swap around legs. And not only flamingos practice that behavior, but we've seen Egyptian geese do it. Many like black-winged stilts, it's not lots of the water birds, but also actually seen that in eagles as well, being perched on one leg. Even I've seen a lilac-breasted roller do it as well. And so you want to know why their kneecaps are on backwards. Oh my word, you are so observant. Well done for noticing that. And it's very true. It looks like their kneecaps may be backwards, but it's actually just to do with the way that they bend their leg. And I suppose depending on how you look, it's either backwards or forwards. But to me, that sort of bulge is towards the front of the leg, similar to ours in a way. And because they bend their leg, then that's the sort of the join where that bend happens. So that is why sometimes it may look backwards, but it actually is very much, I suppose, a join like we have in our legs. And you'd like to also know if it is true that the color of shrimp make flamingos their pink color. It is indeed, ants, and it's actually to do with their diet in general. So they get the pink color from what we call carotenoids, which is a coloration that they get from their food. And flamingos, as well as other birds, are able to extract the carotenoids from their diet. And for flamingos, that may well include shrimps, and they can harness that color. And for flamingos, the main color they take out is pink, pinkish orange, depending on the species. And so we get the coloration that you see coming through in their legs, beaks, and some of their feathers. Alright, well, it's been fun with the flamingos, and we are going to head over to Tau to check out what's happening there today. And here we have some ellies, everyone. How fun is this? They are already starting to cool down for the day. Looks to be two bulls. I think this one, oh, I thought he was going to completely go down on all fours. He's tempted, I think. It's very warm here, 38 degrees if I remember correctly. Oh wow, have a look at that little whirlwind of dust. That's interesting. I wasn't aware of the wind here. It looked quite calm for the most part. Beautiful blue, clear skies. We're just showing that there is actually quite a breeze blowing. Alright, well, it was really cool to see the ellies coming down here already at Tau. Hopefully there will be some more later, but let's go see if we can spot any birds at Rosie's pan. Now, this is usually quite a good spot. You get some of the little ones popping down to the water. But unfortunately, that feed froze on us, and we've come back to this ellie bull who's now arriving at Tau for some water. Tower is always such a beautiful spot, such variety as well. And now we've got these elephant bulls getting all up close and personal. Now the one in the middle that's facing us does look like the most mature of these three individuals. This one is really not too worried about anything going on. He's just like, just give me some space, guys. I'm not interested in your antics. I'm just gonna stand here. And these cameras are just amazing. I mean, look at the detail. We can see these elephants are reasonably far from the camera, and yet we can see so much of the detail of them. Oh, I see our friendly spoonbill is still busy here. There's some wildebeest that are walking across in the background. I just can't believe how the water level has dropped here, everybody. It is so different from last year, sort of earlier January. Now there's still lots of water around. It's just in this particular place that we see a lot of with the camera that there's a lot more mud showing. See a grey heron there, as well as a warthog. Yesterday we had some fun chatting about warthogs and looking at them. And this particular one has definitely had a mud bath. Alright everybody, well we are going to head up to Kenya and see what is happening at Oldonyo. Again today, what a beautiful scene. This is just gorgeous. The clouds are actually quite similar to what we had yesterday, and the colors are so brilliant. I definitely think that these giraffes are sticking around in the area at the moment. Lucky for us, they tend to enjoy this particular spot around the water. Now, yesterday, everyone, I mentioned about the town hall happening, but just an update for you all on that is that it will not be taking place tomorrow, but rather on the 24th of March. So that is a new date, the 24th of March, where you can join James and Andre at 7 p.m. and they will discuss the developments, results of the donation drive, as well as Toyota updates about the new vehicles. And they will also be taking any questions that you may have. And this is open to all viewers. So you're all invited to join. That is the 24th of March at 7 p.m., where James and Andre will be hosting the town hall. Joanne, you would like to know, do any of the animals damage the cameras or are they too high up? Joanne, it definitely depends on the location. If we think about Jamala, and I think Tau's also pretty high, they're sort of on a pole, so generally animals won't be able to reach them too easily. But if we look at the location like here at Oldonyo or Katapan, or some of the other places, that's a lot lower, sometimes actually even completely on the ground like here. So it is a possibility that, you know, things like stronger animals, let's say maybe leopard or lion or interested sort of younger juveniles will come and play with or attempt to access the camera, but that has been safeguarded against. We're looking at very expensive and valuable technology that's used in these cameras, so they're not just left out in the open. They are very, very well protected, and you'll find that this camera may very well be in some sort of concrete structure or have some sort of stone wall around it, maybe even very well camouflaged with the ground to protect it. So I don't think it used to be when all these little things weren't quite realized of how animals can play and damage cameras, but now that has been compensated against. So we don't really get too much damage coming to the cameras anymore. They do get dirty. We saw yesterday at Katap, and there was an elephant that came past and flicked some of dirty water on, so that affected the visual a bit. So things like that happen, and sometimes they do come and try and put their mouth over it or tap, or, use their fingers, especially baboons, on the glass and things like that, but it only makes it all the more entertaining and not so much damaging as often in more recent times.
If you are a driven nature enthusiast with a background in communications, then this message is for you. WildEarth is calling for volunteers to moderate our web and social media chat platforms during our live broadcast. Do you keep up with the latest trends on social media? Do you have quick fingers and a sharp eye? Then we're looking for you. To apply, email your CV to us at jobs@wildearth.tv. Join the WildEarth team today. WildEarth, connecting with nature.
I do love a close-up of a giraffe, and this is such a great view we have here of these two. Oh, that one just regurgitated there, which was quite cool. Let's see if we can watch him do it again. So the one on the right at the moment is doing what we call ruminating, which is basically chewing its cud. Oh, and the flies are just bothering it there. I'm sorry, mister. So frustrating. He's disappeared now. Oh, he is still chewing. But when he stops chewing, everybody... Oh, he's going to have... I thought he was going to have a drink of water. Oh, this poor guy and these flies. But when he stops chewing, he swallows the cud, and then in order to ruminate, they need to bring back up that ball of undigested plant material. And because of the giraffe's long neck in particular, it's a good one to see. The ball's now going to come up all the way from the bottom of his throat. There we go. It just happened. But you can also see it happen with impalas as well. They're quite nice to notice. Come up, their skin on their neck is quite tight. So I always make a point of seeing that happen. Mina, you read my mind. Giraffes do indeed have the most gorgeous eyelashes. And I always mention it, so today I thought, let me not talk about their eyelashes again. But male or female, it doesn't matter. Their eyelashes are beautiful and thick and long, but not too long, you know. An elephant has extremely long eyelashes. They're not actually that attractive, but it works for them because of what they need their lashes for, to protect their eye and all sorts of things. But for a giraffe, it's just beautiful, thick black eyelashes. All right, well, it has been lovely to be here with these giraffes. Hopefully they'll stick around for a little bit longer. But for now, let's head back over to Comfort's Dam. Well, they are still here, everyone, doing their thing. And you actually sent in a comment earlier about them, saying they are very nice birds. They walk around on their tall legs in the water and socialize with their friends all day. Fascinating. They are fascinating and fantastic. How many F alliterations can we come up for Flamingo? Now this view, everyone, we were actually, I was asked yesterday about how large this body of water is, and you can see it all the way going around the corner there. So very, very big indeed.
We are celebrating World Water Day with a 5-day special. Immerse yourself in exclusive live at the Waterhole content. Keep up with the wild waters of the world with special guests. Tune in for live drives around the deep dive into our watering holes. Dive in this World Water Day with WildEarth.
Well, we are going to head back up to Aldonio to see a new visitor that's arrived at the waterhole. Well, here we have an old friend, everyone, who's come down for a drink. Apparently, he was giving the giraffes a little bit of a hard time as well. But I recognize this fella. He was here yesterday at Aldonio Lodge, and we actually just got the tail end of his drink, and he walked away quite soon after we arrived. And the reason I say I recognize him is because of that short tusk on his right side. We can't see it so well now, there's just sticking out. But I clearly remember the way it was broken off, and we even chatted about if it is painful if an elephant loses a tusk. And so I think this guy's been around in the area and now has come back for some more water today. elephants, you'd like to know if there's any way to determine how old this elephant may be. And it's a good question, Anson. There's definitely indicators that we can use to help us give an idea. But unless this particular elephant was seen at birth and has been monitored since then, we can't say an exact, this elephant is 42 years, 8 months, and 6 days old. But what I can tell you is that this is a mature elephant bull. First of all, his size. You can see how large he is. The size of the head as well. When we could see it, you just see, whoa, that's a big elephant. Secondly, you can see the tusks are quite thick, but also are long, well, the one that's not broken, and then they also are quite thick. And there's also where the tusks come out of the head, it's very broad. And there's also a sunken in bit around the temples of his head. Hopefully we can get another look at that. And all those factors together give us a sense that this bull is older, more mature. And then also have a look at his ears. They're very tattered. There's quite a few tears in them, little holes and things like that. Now that can happen to an elephant of any age, but with so many, you tend to get that with more life experience or more time out in the bush. And so with those factors together, I would say anywhere between 35 to 40 years old, also even 40 plus. As bulls get more and more towards sort of their max lifespan, it becomes more difficult to say exactly how old they are, but definitely over 30. Even possibly 40 plus years old, this particular bull. There are also some starlings who are here at the Waterhole. How beautiful are these superb starlings? By far one of my favorites to see here. There's also some greater blue-eared there, the plain one without the rufous chest, or belly I should say, more than chest. So cool to see those feet arriving at the Waterhole. I find elephant feet so fascinating, the fact that such a large animal can be so quiet when walking. And it's all to do with the structure of their foot. The fatty pads that are underneath that make up most of the foot itself. That mold and the cracks underneath mean that it doesn't have a harsh sound when it walks. Alright, this is a beautiful look at his face now, and this is what all the things I was talking about. You can see those very sunken in area above his eyes there. Very large head as well. And restaurant waiting gap.
Better is more than a word to us. It's a commitment to conserve our nation's precious landscapes, oceans, and wildlife. It's more sustainable fishing and farming practices, jobs and prosperity for our communities, and access to clean drinking water for all. Better is believing that together we can make a difference. For nature and for you.
Well, that elephant does seem to have finished his drink. And yes, he was like a grumpy old man. Didn't want anyone else at the water. But hopefully now that he's moved off, the giraffes can return without bother. You'd like if that is a natural man-made pan. I think there was some sort of a natural depression maybe there, but for the most part that is man-made. You can actually see some of the way the rocks are placed within the basin right at the bottom. And then there is pumped here at Old on Your Lodge. It has gotten a lot more overcast here as the clouds are building. And this is the tree that we usually actually see quite a few little birds in. I do think that those giraffes will return eventually. They're looking this way, which is always a good indication of their intention. There's a small little bird going around this tree, but it is very, very small, far away. So unfortunately, a bit to try and say exactly. Oh, I did see a little bit of colour flash past there. I'm not sure what bird that was. We have moved over to Lady Dam here, where there are some ellies. Now it looks like these elephants are enjoying cooling down here all around the well. Well, it's actually interesting to notice how they all choose to drink from there rather than the dam itself. And that's because the water that's there is a lot fresher and cleaner. It's been pumped in. And they usually use the actual dam water to splash on themselves when they want to cool down.
Experience captivating wildlife documentaries showcasing incredible animal behavior for free by visiting lionmountain.tv or downloading the app, accessible on both Apple and Android platforms.
I really do enjoy this view here, the lady. With some of these cameras, it's amazing how close we can feel to these elephants. Liesel, hi. Thank you so much for your wonderful message. It really does mean so much to not only myself, but the team as well. When we hear how much our viewers enjoy the show and you say that you are hooked on the channel, it is fascinating how you all bring us so close to wild animals. I have never seen like this before. I think it's Illinois, and it's just amazing to me how you all can do this. Well, Liesel, it takes a team and a lot of technology and things that all have to play its part and work together. But we are very, very grateful that we get to share this with you all from all over the world. Oh, look at the little one. I'm sure it can't even reach the water from down there. I feel like that little one is literally trying to lick up the scraps that are falling from the others. Sandy, hello. Good morning to you. Just joining you this morning. It's good to have you with us, Sandy. And you want to know why elephants swing a leg back and forth. Sandy, when I see an elephant doing that, I associate it with it thinking. So sometimes when an elephant hears something, or even if a bull is walking in the road towards the vehicle, and it gets to a point where it needs to decide, okay, am I walking past or am I moving off into the bush or something like that. Even a female with a herd, when they cross the road, sometimes they'll stop in the road and swing their front leg back and forth and then move off. So I associate that with making a decision or thinking. I'm not sure exactly why they do it, why that is the behavior associated with it, but it's just one of their little quirks that they have. I suppose it's sort of, they sort of stopped walking in a spot and now that leg is sort of just moving until they decide which way they're going to go. Well, let's head up to Kenya and see what it is that is on the ground. Well, there is a tortoise, I think, that has come to drink at the water, but I do think that there were some unstriped ground squirrels that were moving around. Could have been a mongoose as well, but I do think the tortoise has come back for a drink today. How cool is this, everybody? This is a leopard tortoise, I'm not exactly sure if it's the same one that we saw the other day. It very well may be. But tortoises do love a bit of water. And when it is available, they will come and drink. They really do look so prehistoric and ancient and just old, even if they're young. This one is large. I think it's pretty much full grown. We're just having a look to see if we can see this rodent type animal that was moving around here. Nadine's sure that it looked somewhat like a mongoose. I do know of the squirrels that I've seen here a few times, but very well maybe a mongoose. So we're just going to see if that pops up at all while that tortoise is moving off. Mindy, you say the tortoise was awesome? Joanne, wow, awesome, good size. Yeah, it is a really nice sized big leopard tortoise there. Now, usually we think of tortoises being very slow animals, but they can actually move quite quickly when they want to. I'm just having a look there on its shell, if that's a bit of damage. Sometimes fully grown tortoises can wear some scars on their shells. And those scutes actually, they are indented or they recover and the coloration is affected, which is the keratin which rebuilds on the shell. And it may just be some markings, but it looks like a little bit of an indent there, and you could find maybe something like even a hyena, for example, or a lion or a leopard, or even maybe a honey badger could have tried to crack that shell open, possibly even a ground hornbill with its beak knocking on there. But the shells are very, very tough, and the predators aren't always able to crack them open. Oh wow, that was a black-backed jackal that just came across the background there. That is my first jackal, I think, to see on the Waterhole show, of course. And you could actually see those giraffes are staring this way. Unfortunately, it's just gone behind there now. But very, very cool to see a black-backed jackal make a guest appearance, a cameo, as it were, on the show.
Experience captivating wildlife documentaries showcasing incredible animal behavior for free by visiting lionmountain.tv or downloading the app, accessible on both Apple and Android platforms.
Well, so cool to have that jackal pass by. And Jive Bunny, you say the beautiful coat. It was actually really pretty. Some of the jackals that we tend to see have a little bit of a faded coat or not quite so black and silver, but that one was really, really nice. And now we have a few doves that are popping down, and oh, look how beautiful that emerald spot is on that emerald spotted wood dove. And that tells us exactly why it gets its name. And it's not something that you actually can see all the time that's too clear. So this is a really awesome shot that we have of this dove to be able to show you why it is called the emerald spotted wood dove. Well, everyone, we had some visitors to Olifants River, and we are going to take a look at the clip of them that happened in the last day. Oh, wow, there they come. It's so wonderful that we get to show you a bit of this nighttime footage. And it looks like the whole pride came past. There were a few smaller ones in between there as well. Very typical to see a pride of lions on the move like this. Oh, there comes a big male in the back with some of the smaller ones. And lions love to move at night once the sun is set. Oh, wow. And now all of a sudden we've arrived back to our whole host of birds. There was a superb starling there and an oxpecker. I wonder where the oxpecker has come from, if there's a giraffe close by or something like that. Oh, and Mr. or Mrs. Tortoise is back. Although, yes, I do think, Nadine, this is a different one, a lot smaller in size, hey? And it could have been, I thought I saw a round sort of rock just behind the previous tortoise in the sort of rim of where the grass starts, the boundary there. And I think it was maybe waiting or on its way slowly. But this is definitely a different tortoise to the one we had earlier here. It actually looked like that tortoise was blowing a bubble there for a moment. But it was just its mouth touching and moving away from the water. No, it is a little bubble there. I wonder if he's blowing out water from his mouth or perhaps his nose that's forming a bit of a bubble there. Prairie dog, you say, wow. Very, very cool sighting indeed today. Mindy, yes. So tortoises have what's called a bertha, and that is a little sort of sack-like thing that stores water for them and helps them in the winter months when they go into estivation, which is sort of a semi-hibernation state. They don't do very much at all, and that provides them with water when they don't have the energy because it's a lot cooler. There's not so much heat and sun around that they can have that water to help them in between when they can't get to water holes. This little guy is coming to a different point, prefers the water on this side, maybe just wants a different view. I'm not exactly sure. Mark, you'd like to know if these tortoises are old, and they can get old. They can get very old, anywhere to about 80 years or so, usually to 40 to 50 years in the wild. But this tortoise is younger than the one we saw earlier, and we base that on their size. So a fully grown leopard tortoise is about 40 centimeters in length or so, which I think was very close to what we saw in the one earlier. And this one is a little bit smaller than that. So they can be, anywhere from 30 years plus, I suppose, and in age. So it's impossible to say exactly. But these are quite big, the one being a little bit bigger than the other. Joanne, you are wishing everyone a lovely Thursday further. And good job, Amy. We'll see you tomorrow. Indeed, we will, as we head into the last few minutes of the show. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us today and enjoying it so far. And straight after this, we are going into the On Safari show before we head into your very own live game drive out in the African bush, which will begin at 3:30 Central African time. So Nadine has cut out my work for me here, but I think I seem to see a cutthroat finch there in the middle. So very, very small birds and has this red band underneath the neck, which looks like a cutthroat finch. You can actually see it more clearly now, the one in the middle there. Yeah, so these look like male and female cutthroat finches, everybody, which is very, very cool, I must say. They are such tiny birds, so well done on Nadine to try and focus there on them. They can be quite mottled in color. There's a dove that arrived there in between, also wanting its moment in the spotlight. But we're just having a look to see if there's anything else we can catch. Oh, wow, a whole flock of birds there that flew by in the last few minutes of the show. But from me, everyone, it really has been a wonderful show today. So much variety and lots of cool things, including that little cameo by the jackal, which was fantastic. So thank you so much, everybody, for sending through your comments and your questions. We really do always appreciate it. And I will be back with you tomorrow afternoon while we wait to see what else comes down to the waterhole. So I do hope. Oh, there's a tortoise. I have no idea if that's the same one or not. But anyway, thank you so, so much, everyone. I'll be back with you tomorrow. Please do stay tuned to WildEarth for the upcoming show. And I will chat to you all again tomorrow. Thanks, Nadine. See you tomorrow. Bye.
A very good afternoon to everybody tuning in. My name's Chad. On camera today we've got Paul. And welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve, and you are watching On Safari.